Um, this is weird, right? Because there's like a world out there, then there's like a weird little world up here. Like, I have my own little world going on up here. You all have your own weird little worlds out there. And there are a lot of people that say that I'm really out there. And it's because of how much time I spend up here. The story, first of all, to quote the late 90s boy band Five, baby, when the lights go out, words cannot express the love and tenderness. I like spending time in my weird little world with myself. I like playing little games with myself. Like if Jesus had an online dating profile, would it say likes long walks on the beach while carrying you? But the problem is when you spend so much time in a weird little world with yourself, is that you tend to mess up reality in the real world. Now, when I was in high school, I would think about girls a lot, and when I would lay in bed at night and listen to my Walkman, the words of the lyrics of the boy bands of the era would speak to me. So this one night, freshman year of high school, I was laying in bed, and I was imagining the scene with this girl that I currently had a crush on, and in my mind, I was singing the lyrics along with the band. I think it's fly when girls stop by for the summer. I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. And in my mind, she was wearing Abercrombie and Fitch, and I looked into her eyes, and she looked into my eyes. But what ended up actually happening is I stress ate, took her on a carnival ride, and threw up a little bit in her mouth. And later, when I was a senior in high school, and I had another girl that I was crushing on, and same band, different lyrics, I was imagining the scene with this girl, and I would reach my long arm around hers, and I was singing the lyrics to myself, Shooby-doo-wop and Scooby Snacks. I met a fly girl, and I can't relax. But what ended up happening is, though, that I went down to her shore house, and as I was reaching my arm around hers, I got nervous and reached for some animal crackers and crushed them into her hair. And I think I did it flirtatiously, but the point is, by the time I got to college, I was pretty much immune to red cheek embarrassment, and I majored in the only thing that someone who spends so much time in their own weird little world can possibly major in, philosophy. And in the program that I was in at the University of Scranton, woot woot, there was this seminal course where we had to deliver a Shakespearean sonnet while simultaneously doing the most embarrassing thing we'd ever done in our lives. And while I was sitting in class in my own little world thinking of something like, what happens when we no longer need the word obsolete? My professor said, I don't know what Steve's going to do to get embarrassed. And so I got nervous and worried that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off. But suddenly I had a moment of inspiration, and I realized what sonnet I was going to do. And the sonnet was Sonnet 130. It went, roses damasked I have seen red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And I lay in bed the night before, and I imagined that my professor was going to think I was brilliant. And I had a lot of fun with this, and I sang the lyrics along with the boy band, bop, da-dibby-dop by do-bop, da-dibby-dop by do-bop, da-dibby-dop by do. Everyone was happy. But the next day I got to class, and I need to explain to you the way the class was set up. So it was a laboratory seating classroom, and it was a stadium seating classroom, in a laboratory, and there was a lab table in the front. So I would be performing on the lab table. And what I decided that I was going to do was that I was going to perform the last half of the sonnet from my backside. Now this particular professor was really big on eye contact, so I also bent my head between my legs when I was doing this. And I got kicked off the stage rather quickly. Kids were shouting things like, hey Steve, I can see all three of your brown eyes. And I realized that as weird as things were in my head, they always somehow turned out a little bit weirder in the real world. Epilogue. I know what you're thinking. Things are too weird up here for them to ever match what's out there. And maybe that's true. But maybe out there, somewhere tonight, or somewhere on the interwebs, there will be someone who sees this story, and in their own weird little world, they're thinking to themselves, like I am, Steve, you are my fire, the one desire. Maybe. Thank you.
Steve, everybody.